Councilmember Robert Cornegie, representing the vibrant communities of Bedford-Stuyvesant and Northern Crown Heights. Looking at what drives my passion around mental health, this community and communities of color characteristically don't address mental health issues in the same way that the larger communities do. There's been a stigma that's associated with mental health that's directly related to, in particular, Black males. And I get excited about the idea of changing that narrative and literally making mental health and mental health awareness sexy. I have a family member, a sister, who is now in late stages of life suffering from mental health issues. And it's very disheartening because the rest of my family who has to deal with her is not equipped and doesn't understand mental health enough to be helpful. So they're still at the stages where they don't understand why she's behaving the way she's behaving. So mental health there has to be an education process around mental health so even loved ones can deal with it in a way that can be productive. Mental health literacy, to me, has a broad range and scope. It's everything from education around common mental health concerns that community has. It's also about making sure that law enforcement isn't the first point of engagement when someone is having a mental health crisis. That's been one of the issues for our community in particular that causes grave concern. So as a legislator, I'm trying to work to make sure that we can pair and marry mental health professionals with crisis situations as primary engagers as opposed to law enforcement. I was happy to have published, my own mental health white paper, and my staff was tremendous in making sure that we could gather pertinent information and resources. So one of the things was the mental health white paper to demonstrate the issues around addressing mental health in our community. And secondly, we also published a guide to mental health resources that are in the community because I don't think people know whether or not they have mental health services because it's not something that's generally public knowledge, unfortunately. So everything from what the hospitals and health institutions that are large in the district offer to one-on-one consultations with therapists, counselors, psychiatrists. So we put that kind of all together in a way that's very comprehensive. So whether you or someone close to you, a neighbor, a friend may be experiencing some issues around mental health, we can give you a guide. So it's something that's actually moving fast throughout the community, the ability to help people by giving them the resources that they need. I'm very proud of that. I'm proud that we didn't rely on someone else to do that for us. I'm proud that the mental health white paper, which was a very extensive look at what mental health looks like in our community, can be used in a greater context. So I definitely want to send a special shout out to all my staff who worked diligently on that white paper and also on the resource guide. We may be one of the only offices, if I'm not mistaken, to have a licensed mental health person on staff working as a constituent services person, and she's done a tremendous job of identifying primary care needs, secondary care needs, and tertiary care needs, which a lot of offices don't have the luxury of doing. And I think it's made us incredibly effective because she can identify when mental health might be a driving factor in inconsistent housing or underemployment and those kinds of things. So it really gives us a leg up when dealing with our constituents. And if there's a referral that needs to be made, that's a primary referral for mental health, even before housing or even before education or even before employment. She can identify that and make those referrals so that whatever we find for them is a sustainable alternative to what's happening in their lives. And the thing is, it's all about sustainability. So in our council offices, when we do constituent services work, it's generally a referral process. But having that one extra step where you can understand where someone may be mental health wise is a difference that can be more sustainable. So what we find for them, whether it's housing with support services, whether it's a job that requires support around that job, she's able to generally identify that, and we make the right referrals that make people have more sustainable, positive outcomes. And I think that's tremendously important, even from a council and constituent services standpoint.